May the words of my mouth and the meditations of all our hearts be acceptable in your sight, O Lord, our rock and our Redeemer. Please be seated. It's the second Sunday of Advent, but it's my first sermon in Advent. So, our readings today really kind of fit with what Advent is about. Surprise, surprise, they're chosen for Advent. About preparing, about making that path straight, about being ready. What I want to talk about today is the things that get in the way of us being ready. About clutter. We have a tendency to clutter things up. At least I do. To add a whole bunch of things to our list of things that need to be there, that really don't. Things that we think are important, but just get in the way. So, just as an example, I'm going to use Christmas and our Christmas story that we tell every year, and that we're telling, and we just had our first concert with the Calling Lakes Community Choir. It's not Community Choir anymore, right? Just Calling Lakes Choir last night. And the readings and story that's told throughout it. And also what we tend to put in our nativity set. Where was Jesus born? Anybody know? Where does it say that? It doesn't say that. What it says is that when the shepherds came, they found him lying in a manger because there was no room in the inn. It doesn't say anything about where he was born. He could have been born on the trip there. That manger isn't necessarily even in a stable. Stable is never mentioned. But we built it into the story.
You're ruining the story.
No, there's nothing wrong with this expanded story. As long as we kind of realize that that's extra. That's the stuff that we add in. What animals were there?
The horse and the cow, and all added there, I suppose, too.
All added.
Yeah.
There's no mention of any animals whatsoever. Where was Jesus when the Magi arrived? In a bed in his house. Not in a stable, not in a manger, and not at his birth. The star rose at his birth, and the Magi journeyed to find him. The estimate's 2 years. So he was a toddler, not a baby, when the Magi arrived. There are all of these things that we add to the story. And why do we do it? Well, we think the birth of Jesus is really important to us. And that's right. But when we look at the stories, what's told about the birth of Jesus is really, really tiny. We're told about the importance of it. We're told about the result of it. And right in the middle, we're told it happened. But there's not a lot of detail about it happening. And we want to make it a big event because of its importance, both about foretelling and about the result of his birth, what it means for us. And that is a very good thing, that we have added all of these things to make it this big story. Because that's the place it needs to hold for us. But if we get caught up in the things we've added, in the celebration, aspect of it, in the making it into a pageant, then we've actually lost why we added all these things in the first place. We added all of these things so that we could really see a picture of God in our lives, giving himself to us as an innocent baby into our care. This happened. We need this picture to make it real to us. And so we add all of these things to bring it to life. So as we prepare for Christmas, and we look at all of the things that we're adding to our celebration, all of the things that we're pulling into our lives at this time, I think we really need to look at how do they bring to life the reality of God with us, of God putting himself in our care as a helpless, innocent baby. What does it mean to us? What things are important to bring this story to life? And what things are there that just kind of obscure what it is we're celebrating? So yes, it's a good thing that in our nativity we have a bunch of things that aren't there in the story. Because when we draw that picture, we can enter into the scene. I think the story that actually helps us enter the scene most is the one of the shepherds, where this scary angel of the Lord comes to them and says, "Hey, I'm announcing this to you. There's a baby born this day in the city of David, who is the anointed, who is Emmanuel, who is God with us. And I'm not telling other kings. I'm telling the shepherds. I'm telling the ones out in the fields, the ones who work hard all the time to make sure that everybody is fed. I'm telling the farmers. I'm telling the laborers. I'm not telling the rich. I'll tell them too, but I'll tell them in a different way. This message is for you, that today, in the city of David, is born Emmanuel, God with us. So I pray that as we prepare for Advent, as we prepare for Christmas, as you prepare for Christmas, the things that you choose to bring in at this time of year help you to build that image, to bring to life the importance of Jesus in your life, of God putting himself into your care to be carried into the world. Amen.